Hello and welcome to this tutorial for the Year 7 FUS project, Design Technology project, based on the global goals. Now, what we've asked you to design and make in just a short period of time, we have about 3 weeks, is a piece of jewellery, a key ring or some kind of fridge magnet. Now you are to base them off the global goals, and we would have discussed this in the lesson. However, this is a tutorial on how to use Adobe Illustrator to create your design ideas. Finally, the product, when produced on Adobe Illustrator and finished, you will be manufacturing it using the laser cutter. Okay, start off point then is to go on to the first homepage on Westminster and find Student SharePoint Hub. It's over here. So I'm going to click on that. This is where you can access all the resources for the different subjects. We're going to senior school. We're going across to design technology. And you'll notice I've opened up a little folder there, FUS, Mr. Beeston. And if you go into that folder, you will see a file. That file is called keyring template. Now, like I just mentioned, you can produce a keyring, some kind of fridge magnet, or even a small piece of jewellery. Now, the best way to access this document is to download it by just selecting it first, then going to download, and it will actually go into your downloads area on your computer. You then can open up Adobe Illustrator. Now I've got the app already open. I would have shown you this, or another teacher would have shown you this, on how to access Adobe Illustrator and the app. And what you then do is go and then find the file, and you can open the file and go to downloads, and there it is, keyring template. So you click on that, open it up. And here are the 3 design areas I want you to use. Now I've given you an 80 by 80 square to use, and that's the size of the material that you can utilize for the project. You will notice across the top different functions, and we've got some different tools over here, but I want you to pay particular attention to this area here. And if you've used Illustrator or Photoshop before, you'll be aware of layers. We've got our layers. We've got design 1, design 2 and 3. So just for a good practice, we'll turn off design 2 and design 3, and we'll just focus on this area here. You can choose a particular global goal, but for instance, I'm going to look at this one here. It's the combat global poaching and trafficking goal. Okay. Now, this goal is to enhance global support for efforts to combat poaching and trafficking of protected species, including by increasing the capacity of local communities to pursue sustainable livelihood opportunities. So think about this as an awareness campaign, and these pieces of jewellery are being sold to create some awareness about the global goals. So look, we've got some animals here. I did a little bit of research. You may want to do this as well, but I went on and found out what types of animals are at risk, and we've got some here. Let's look at this. We've got African elephant, leopard, rhino, turtle. You may want to choose any of those animals to use for this, but for me, I'm just going to search up the African elephant. So we're going to put that into a search. As you can see, I put in an African elephant in the search bar there, and what we then do is we go to Tools, and we want to select a black and white image. We want maybe something that's more clip art, something that's simple to work with, and the size needs to be large. So we can select an appropriate image that we think might be good for our design. Quite like the look of the first one there. There's some other side views here, but let's just run with this and see if we can use this image. So we click on the image. This is something that possibly could be used. It's quite a large image and has some areas for engraving. So you may have seen some of the examples in class where you can actually engrave onto acrylic to create all the details of this. So let's have a go with this image and you'll see. Firstly, we will right-hand click. We want to save image as and save it into our pictures. Now I've already created a folder, and as you can see there are some images in there I've got of other animals, but I've created a folder and pictures and I call it FUS and African elephant. I just save that there to start with. So let's open up our file then, and you need to make sure that you're on the correct layer, design 1. Then we go in and we place the image. Place. Now, where did we put it? We put it in pictures. I created a file. The file was the FUS folder, and there's my African elephant, and I place it in. Now, when you place it in, you'll click on the artboard, and it will make it the size that it's obviously is set at. That's not going to fit in, so we need to make it smaller. Quick tip. Use Control, hold down on Control and the minus to make the page a bit smaller. You can then go plus to make it bigger. So let's just go minus, and then let's make that image smaller. Now, if we click on that and go like that, we're obviously making it long and thin. We want to keep it uniform as we go down so the image is not distorted. So we hold down on the Shift button and that will make it uniform and not squashed. So let's pop that in there. That's about the right size. And then let's zoom in on that area. Control plus will zoom in. Easier to work with this now. Let's just move that a bit further up and more central. Now we've got this bitmap image, and this needs to be converted into a vector file. So just to briefly say that a bitmap is made up of tiny little dots, whereas a vector is made up of lines and shapes. So it's easier to work with when we're using lines and shapes, and so this is what we have to do. We have to change this image from a bitmap to a vector-based image. All we do is we click on it, we go to this thing up here, Image Trace. Now you should have all these tools up here. If you don't, then you can go to Window and go to Workspace, and the workspace that you want to use is Essentials Classic. Now I've got mine up and running already, so when I go onto here, it's automatically got Image Trace on there. So we Image Trace, and you'll notice now it's changed it into a black and white image, and that's really good for laser cutting and laser engraving. So we've got this image, but we're still a few steps before we can start moving it and manipulating it. What we do is we go up to expand and we go to expand it. That breaks it down into different parts and shapes. And click off. Now if we click on them, we can see this white area. Now we do want to perhaps get rid of that white area. And the easiest thing to do is to then go to ungroup. Now you can right-hand click and ungroup. What that does is obviously make all different shapes separated so they're not grouped. Now when we click on that and we press delete, we've deleted the white area around the outside. So you can do that. It's ungroup and then select the area that you want to delete. I mean, we could, if we went on here and deleted that, we could delete that, but let's just go back. Control Z is to go back and keep it how we want it. So really we've got an image here that's going to be engraved. This black area is going to be engraved, but we do want a shape to be cut out of it. And we want to create a shape all the way around it, and that's going to be our cutout shape. Now before we do that, you need to make sure that there is a no fill up here, and a red line here. So this area here is for the fill of an object, and this is the actual stroke. So the stroke color. So I'll just show you. And you'll see that we're going to create the shape all the way around. Like so. Now I've rushed it, but you can be a little bit more accurate with your contouring. And we're just going to bring that like that. And the final node you click on, and we've got that shape. Now that's all very well. We've gone around the outside, but it's not particularly good for a key ring or a fridge magnet. I'd like some lettering at the bottom. So how am I going to do that? Well, let's add another shape. So what we can do here is we go up to the shapes area and we can do ellipses, polygons, but I want to use this rounded rectangle tool. And we're going to make a rectangle shape like this. Let's make it about that sort of size. And now we've got those shapes overlapped. It'd be nice if we could join them together to make one big shape. Let's just make that a bit bigger there. Now we've got those two shapes, we want to join them together. We want to create one big shape. So the easiest way to do this is to select both shapes. This is the selection tool here. Okay. Then we go over here to Pathfinder. Now that should come up, and we've got this one, which is unite some objects. We've got minus the front one from the back one. We've got some other tools here we can use, but to keep it simple, let's just use this one, the unite tool, because we want to unite, put the two together, the two shapes together. So here we go. Click on that, and you'll notice it just makes the shape that we need. So what we've got really now is a shape which can be cut out. The red line is going to be cut. The laser is going to cut all the way around the outside. And then we've got the black line, which is going to be engraved on the top of the acrylic. And that will just be etched onto the surface. So like I mentioned, it'd be nice to have some kind of text. Well, if we go over here, we can click on the text type tool. We can click on where we want to place the text. I want some words here. So once you've selected it, you can actually go over to the side here and select the font type. So I want something quite bold, easily seen. Let's have a look. That looks quite good. We'll go with that. And then we can type in and as you can see, I've put stop poaching, and we can make some other different changes to the text by as you can see, I've got stop poaching, but it's not the right size and it's not in the center. So let's see what we can do here. Let's see if we can just put it central. We can justify it there. So we put center, and we highlight that and put that center. And then we click on the text and go to the center and highlight it. We can move it around so that we've got that. We can then move it, make it a bit bigger. Remember, if you want to make it so it's not squashed up, you can hold down on the shift button and drag it out, and it will keep it all nice and uniform for you. So there we go, stop poaching. And what I'd ask you to do to make it a little bit quicker for laser cutting and laser engraving, I'd like you to make that a no fill for your text. So here we go, no fill. And then we need the stroke to be black, and then we've got the outline. So stop poaching, we've got that round there, and that's your first design done. Okay, so let's move on to another one. Let's show you the same process again. So we don't lose this, make sure you do a save, file, save as. Now you might want to save it on your computer somewhere safe, and I suggest that you put your name in there as well. So it can be called keyring or jewelry, and then your name. So I'm going to put just Mr. Beeston, and I've saved that in my area. I know where it's going, so that's all safe and ready to go when we need it. So let's now click on design number 2, and when we highlight it there, so when we press on the little eye, it will come up and be visible. Okay, so this toggles the visibility, and we can turn that one off. We can maneuver it around, or we can just simply remember Control plus, Control minus. Let's get another image in there and do that again. So File, Place. Well, Place is not highlighted. Wonder why that is. Let's go over here. Look, we've actually still on the actual layer 1, which is design 1. So we need to click on design 2. Then when we go back up to here, the place now is available. We can place our image. Let's go to our pictures file. As you would have remembered, I had these other images. So let's put that lovely image of I think it's a cheetah. And Control minus zooms out. We want to make that the right size, so we hold down on Shift, make it a bit smaller, and then drag it over, place it in there. Control plus will zoom in, and there we have it. Now I want it a little bit bigger than that, so I'm going to make it a bit bigger. So there, that's a good size. So perhaps with this one we'll make a key ring. So what do? You remember, we go up to the top, don't we? And we go to image trace. It will change the image into a black and white. What's the next one? You've got it. We go to expand. Now we've expanded the image into different components, a range of different shapes and lines. The last thing to do, you've got it, is to ungroup. We then click off. We click on the white area to get rid of that and delete that. So now we're left with just the shapes that can be cut out and lasered out or engraved. Let's then go to our drawing tool. We click on the pen tool here, and we can go around. So we want to make sure that we've got our stroke red and the fill is a no fill. Remember that line that goes across there means no fill. So let's go back. We've got this on. Let's make a start. So we're going to click round here. Now at the top here, I'm going to add a little bit extra, and you'll see why in a sec. And we've got our shape there. Now I quite like that. A few alterations I could make. In fact, we could just show you how you might change some of these. These are all nodes that are around the outside. We click on this and we click on the node. we can actually click on it and then change these little bars here to change the angle. So let's zoom in and then you'll be able to see a bit better. So look, we've got these handles that you can pull out and change, so we can actually change the shape. So say we want it more rounded or slightly larger, we can manipulate those. So we get a nice smooth edge. We can actually shift the node by moving it or rotating it round. So look, that doesn't quite work, does it? If you make a mistake, remember you can always just go Control Z and it will actually go back a stage. So I'm happy with that. While we're up here, let's draw a little circle in there. So we go to Shapes, hold down the left-hand button and go to Ellipse. And now let's make a little circle. Now, we just need a little circle like that. You can actually hold down on the Shift button to make a circle. That's too big. That looks like that could be good there. And what have we got? We've got a hole in there that we can actually cut. And the hole is 5.292 millimeters by 5. No, that's quite good. That's half a centimeter. That's really good hole size for a key ring. Now this distance here is around 3 mil, because if that's 6 mil across there, then that's probably about half, and it can become quite brittle. So we want to make it a little bit stronger. So we're going to select our outside area lines and move some of the nodes to make it a bit thicker. So that seems to work there. That works fine. That's gone a bit crazy there, so let's just keep it there, and maybe let's move the circle. So we go to the other selection tool where we can select this and go to the center and move it. Now we've got that in the center. Okay, let's zoom out and have a look at it. Cool. So the next thing to do is just put some lettering in. Click on there, put some lettering in, and we're just going to put quickly in there and stop poaching. Again, select, hover over the text, maneuver it into the place. I'm just going to drag that now, make it fit. You notice something? Yeah, I've spelt it wrong. Okay, so let's go in. We can actually click on the letters and then delete them. So now we can see the cursor is actually there. We can just go there and stop that. There we go. Like I mentioned, make things a little bit quicker. Let's make that a no fill. So you go up to this area here where we can go line black, just a stroke line, and then the fill is a no fill. And there is what we're going to get engraved. So there we've got our key ring now. It's a nice picture, a nice image of a leopard and stop poaching on there. That will be a hole. I'll give you a key ring and you've got your product made. Final one to do, could be a fridge magnet, could be another piece of jewellery. Maybe you want to do something with 2 different colours of acrylic. That's a possibility if we have time. But basically you are to do design 1, 2 and 3. So now I can show you this. I've got my design 1, design 2, and then you can make design 3. Really important to keep them on separate layers, because when it comes to you lasering them out, you'll say, okay, I want design number 1, and you'll save a file and you'll turn these off. You'll save the file, send it to me, and then I will be able to laser cut that out. Okay, that's it for this tutorial. I hope it's been useful, and I will see you in the lesson.